Went scoreless in the opener for the Houston Rockets. Nick Van Exel just 1 for 11 from the floor. The head coach is Rudy Tomjanovich for the Rockets, Del Harris for the Lakers, and we're underway, and that is to Los Angeles.
Key for the Lakers, up-tempo game. Get in the transition, which is their strength, and get in the 110-point range. That'll be a huge factor for them.
Divac right away inside. Vlade Divac with 6 points and 8 rebounds, but went scoreless in the fourth quarter of the 4-point loss here Thursday night.
Greg Vlade was telling me in the locker room before the game, he said there's nothing he can do to stop and keep on the defensive end. What he's got to do is try to get some of it back on the offensive zone.
Olajuwon spins to the baseline for his first basket of the day.
We've already seen much better quality of play in Game 2 than Game 1. A shooting nightmare for both clubs.
Eldon Campbell across the lane. His hook doesn't fall. And Drexler with the rebound. If you're joining us late, Clyde Drexler rolled his ankle early in the second quarter, was ineffective for much of the middle part of the game, and had his ankle taped prior to this game, something he has never done before in his professional career. Robert Horry throws it away.
Tough pass. Don't jump in the air to pass, but back to Clyde Drexler. With Clyde in the locker room, I saw him pulling the paper out of the toe of his shoes, those high-top shoes that he's wearing. That's never good for an athlete to wear for the first time in such an important game as today's.
Wore your new shoes in practice, did you?
Got to break them in. You want everything perfect. And they throw that ball up for the first time.
Sabalos going to cast off.
Best three-point shooting team in Laker history. Peeler, Nick Van Exel, Sabalos, they can all throw it down. Oh, too easy.
Didn't roll for him, and here come the Lakers, led by Van Exel. Magic Johnson told us Nick Van Exel looked tentative for the first time he's ever seen him. Look at that pass. Nice setup for Sabalos. 7-2 Lakers.
Greg, a good start is critical for the Rockets. They've got to come out, get some player. It was Clyde Drexler who set the tempo early in Game 1. Right now, it's all Los Angeles Lakers.
Van Exel on the run. Hard pass aimed toward Divac, off his hands and out of bounds.
Van Exel able to slide down the lane a moment ago and finding Cedric Sabalos, one of the great finishers without the ball, with that quick stuff.
Robert Horry into the lane. And Van Exel comes away with it. Rockets come out cold. Van Exel back in a hurry. Rudy Tomjanovich says, we have to talk about this. The Lakers have come out with something they didn't have Friday night. A little offense. 9-2, Lakers in the lead. Welcome back. The Lakers off the mark in a hurry today. The Rockets are not. Working the sidelines with us, Hannah Storm. Hannah.
Well, Rudy Tomjanovich told his team during the timeout, you're falling into the Lakers' trap, you guys have got to get back on defense. He said your mind is not in this game yet, Greg.
Thanks, Hannah. Ball away by Akeem, who has all 4 of the Rockets' points, and it's 9-4.
The Lakers defense is so much more aggressive, so much more confident. They're staying home. This is a terrific Laker team defensively. They're best in history, holding their opponents to under 100 points per game, only the second time in Laker history.
Eddie Jones.
Eddie Jones-Clyde Drexler matchup will be critical in the outcome of not only this game, but this series. Jones with 5 three-pointers in Game 1.
Kenny Smith open. And loose ball foul is going to go against Clyde Drexler. That's his first.
The whole flow has been L.A. Houston having to get everything in said offense. The Lakers are getting good shot, good balance. They appear much hungrier, much fresher than Exel, creating beautifully.
Kenny Smith draws his first personal. Both these teams in the first quarter here in game 1 shot 33%. The Lakers finished at 35% for the game. Del Harris said, we just picked a bad time to play our worst game of the year.
The numbers were absolutely horrible. The Lakers are a terrific field goal shooting team. They are in the top 10 in the NBA in not only field goal percentage, but in points as well. And it all starts with your creative guys, your Magic Johnsons and your Nick Van Exel. And Van Exel, who hadn't played in a couple of weeks in an NBA game, he was obviously very tentative.
Kenny Smith for 3. Front of the rim. Divac with the rebound.
Neither three-point attempt by Smith has even gotten above the 10-foot height of the rim.
Van Exel again.
This is exactly what the Rockets do not want. Front-running Lakers up on their toes, pushing out. Nothing happening on the offensive end.
Drexler missed. Hakeem fouls him from behind.
Nick Van Exel, who has been terrific, got more done in the first couple of minutes of this game than in the entirety of game 1.
Into the lane, and Van Exel is on fire. Absolutely on fire.
Dirty Tom Jones is quickly coming with Sam Cassell. Kenny Smith obviously unable to contain Van Exel.
Van Exel helping with the double team. And Kenny Smith on the drive, dishes for Chucky Brown, blocked.
Lakers are 4th in the NBA in blocks in the regular season. Tall guys underneath and little guys that force double clutch attempts.
Van Exel front row, missed everything. And that brings a smile to Van Exel's face.
Good rejection by both tall guys. Talking to Hakeem, who's played against all the best and has established himself as the best. Mario Elliott just checking in for the first time. But Hakeem was commenting on just how tall these Laker big men are, Vlade and Eldon Campbell.
Lakers on a 12-2 run. Chucky Brown down the lane. Will go to the line, but that didn't fall for him. In addition to the poor shooting by the Lakers here in game 1 on Thursday night, they also turned the ball over 22 times, which is a very un-Laker-like performance.
They're second in the league in fewest turnovers per game. This is a team that loves to get up and down, but the Rockets are so sharp defensively, and that's what gives the Rockets that confidence to be able to come into these games. They fall back as Magic looking up the sideline to the coach saying, hey, coach, can I get in there now? Look how Magic has moved up the sideline now, sitting closer and closer to where Del Harris is.
Six and a half to play here in the first quarter. Cedric Ceballos out of bounds to Houston. The way things were going for the Lakers, Ced might think a second time about taking that open three-pointer.
The problem with driving against the Houston Rockets is that you got the league's all-time shot block king in Hakeem Olajuwon. Nobody for Houston is playing offense at all.
Sam Cassell comes up short on that jump shot. 19-6 Lakers. 19-4. 14-6. The numbers will come eventually, Bill.
Hakeem in transition.
Squeezes through. And a traveling violation on Mario Elliott.
In the start of game 1 for Houston, Clyde Drexler dominated the game physically. He had double-digit points in the first quarter, set the tempo. Nobody has taken that sort of physical or mental control of the game for Houston at this point. While Van Exel is in complete charge.
Ceballos outfights 3 Rockets for the rebound. Tapped out to Van Exel for a 3. Too strong. Divac just missed the tap. And here come the Rockets, 4-on-2. Cassell to Ellie to Drexler. And he missed the layup. And a jump ball.
Clyde is thinking about that foot, but this is where Rudy Tomjanovich's brilliance comes to play. He knows the Rockets are stinking the place up early on. He'll be positive. He'll stay patient with them. He won't yell and scream and start pulling guys. He knows it's a 48-minute game. He also knows he's only ahead after the first quarter with that Game 1 victory here Thursday night.
Houston is just 2 for 11 so far this afternoon. Nice pass by Divac to Ceballos, who was fouled down the lane.
Houston, I'm not sure why. I mean, Akeem Olajuwon, one of the great defensive centers in the history of basketball, he can guard Vlade Divac. You don't need to come and double team Vlade when Akeem is already on it. That's just going to allow Cedric Ceballos to play his game.
You've seen it, Bill. It's perplexing to coaches and sometimes to fans how a team can come out and not perform, especially when you think they're ready to. Laker assistant Bill Burtka was saying, I couldn't believe it. I looked at our guys in the locker room before Game 1, and they were all ready. They were focused. They were intense, and they came out, and nothing happened.
You have to learn how to play the big games. These are not guys on this Laker team that have dominated the history of basketball on the high school, collegiate, or professional level the way the great Laker teams, the great Celtic teams, the great Philadelphia and New York teams have done in the past. This Laker team has to get its own identity, and they have to prove it on the court in the playoffs.
Lakers by 10. Olajuwon sets up Chucky Brown, in and out. Hakeem follows and was fouled by Eldon Campbell.
Trying to get everybody together here, pulling the Rockets at the foul line. The foul on Eldon Campbell, who picked up some very cheap and questionable calls early on in the game. That was clearly a foul.
Hakeem misses the first, and here comes Anthony Peeler, who sat out Game 1 with a strained calf muscle.
Interesting how Peeler is off the bench first before Magic.
Hakeem missed them both.
Maybe Del Harris has got him in there early to get that calf loose, keep it loose after the nice warm-up that he had.
Eddie Jones for 2.
Del Harris is grinning ear to ear. The offense just firing on all cylinders for LA, and nothing going right for Houston.
Olajuwon outside, Ellie off the mark. It's a strange game, isn't it?
A complete reversal of fortune. The Rockets have got to start going to the hoop. They're shooting the fadeaways. They're not rebounding. They're missing what close-in shots they do have. They're just getting out hustled for all loose balls.
Divac, Peeler, Van Exel. Oh, look at the pass. The Lakers are on a roll. Breaks an 18-4 Laker run.
We talked with the Rockets yesterday. This supremely confident team that comes with 2 back-to-back championships. They know no matter what the circumstances, they can come back because they've got the defense and the individual offensive players.
Hakeem comes over to get that block, and here come the Rockets again. 4-on-3. Cassell. Got it blocked by Campbell.
Campbell's the only non-center in the NBA who's in the top 10 in blocks. The Lakers want a timeout right now. They don't need one. They just want to milk this crowd a little bit.
2:56 to play in the first quarter, and it's been all Lakers. You're watching the NBA on NBC. 2 2:56 to play in the first quarter, and Magic Johnson is set to come into the game for the first time. Include Magic among the Lakers, who really weren't that concerned after a Game 1 loss.
What we have to do is move the basketball and make people move. See, we didn't make people move. We didn't make their team move the other night. We just had the ball and we were pounding it. We didn't swing, move. And what we didn't do that we were so good at, we didn't get anything in transition. And I think more than anything, that's what hurt us the most.
And that's exactly what the Lakers have accomplished so far this afternoon.
They're playing Laker basketball. The Lakers don't have the personnel, Greg. As you look at the field goal percentage from Game 1, just a precipitous drop-off from their 6th in the NBA regular season mark of 48%. The Lakers don't have those great one-on-one players where you just give them the ball and get out of their way. This is a team that's 2nd in the NBA in assists. They rely on penetration and dish and creativity of Magic and Van Exel. And then Vlade doing a lot of good passing himself.
Anthony Peeler. And Jones follows up.
And all the long rebounds. I mean, where are Sam Cassell, where is Mario Elie and Drexler cutting that foul line for the long rebound?
That one was a giveaway by Peeler, and here comes Drexler leading a 3-on-1. Elie didn't fall for it, and Jones comes back in to grab the rebound. 2-on-1. Magic tapped out of bounds by Akeem.
This is something that you live for. Very few times in the history of the NBA have such great players faced each other in the playoffs. Magic and Akeem here. I mean, we had Russell and Chamberlain. Jabbar never played against Jordan in the playoffs. Jordan versus Magic just one time in the playoffs. This is very special.
The Lakers have out-rebounded Houston 16-6.
No double team. Just a pop back in by the guard. He hurt his ankle. He trained it.
And Magic is limping back up the court and called timeout.
He's going straight to the locker room there. They're going to have to carry him off. Get some big guys off the bench. Get Derek Strong and a couple of guys.
This will be a 20-second timeout, but Magic in some obvious pain. Let's go back and take a look.
He swings the hook. Looks like he just landed on his ankle when he jumped. It's way too early to tell.
I thought maybe he may have landed on his opponent's foot when he came down.
I think that's what happened. Great to see Magic walking it off a little bit. Oftentimes that's very painful initially. Magic, not a guy who's had a lot of sprained ankles in his career, has had recurring Achilles tendon problems, but he's staying in there. He's waited a long time to get back to these playoffs.
Talked about his hamstring injury. This against the Pistons in the '90 finals. Magic is going to stay in with 1:55 to play here in the first.
The 13th playoffs that Magic has been in. He's been to the finals 9 times. Again, how many layups have the Rockets missed today?
A bunch. Let's go over to Hannah Storm. Hannah.
Let's talk to Lakers trainer Gary Vitti. He said that Magic rolled his left ankle. As you can see, Magic insisted on staying in the game and says he's going to be okay. Did not aggravate that Achilles injury in any way. Again, he just twisted his left ankle.
All right, Hannah, thank you. Second personal foul on Eldon Campbell.
Rockets have scored 9 points. We've got just under 2 minutes to play. The offensive futility that the Lakers suffered in Game 1.
So Divac comes on now to replace Eldon Campbell as Mark Bryant will get a second free throw. Bryant had 12 points and 5 rebounds and was the only other Rocket other than Akeem and Clyde Drexler to reach double figures here Thursday night.
Bryant has been hugely successful all season long against the Lakers. Key offseason acquisition by the Rockets, Mark Bryant.
Magic Johnson. Shot clock at 9. No double team. The hook won't fall, but he'll go to the free throw line. And Bryant guilty of the foul. Magic Johnson, the next free throw he makes will place him #2 all-time in free throws made in the playoffs.
The top 3 positions all time are all Lakers, former Lakers. Jerry West, #1. Abdul-Jabbar, #2. Look at Magic's playoff rankings. 3rd in games, 6th in points.
And now #2 in free throws. Made them both. Lakers lead 24-11 in the last minute and a half of the first quarter. Drexler.
Lakers wanted to push, a traveling violation, but he was pushed.
And Drexler with the pass back doesn't make the layup. Here come the Lakers again. A forgettable first quarter for the Houston Rockets. And Laker ball on the kick.
The Lakers just look so much fresher, so much more relaxed, so much more confident. The question for the Rockets is, are they just phoning this one in, thinking that, hey, we got what we wanted with the first game victory? I don't think so. I think the Rockets are going to come back and make a game of this at some point.
Divac, the other side, and threw it away. 2 Lakers open on the far side of the court, and he split the difference.
Go 2 for 1 here with the Rockets at the shot clock. Shoot at 40, and then you get the last one. Rockets patiently walking it up.
Cassell backs his way in, then goes outside and down low. Wants to post up Van Exel. The turnaround on the baseline, in and out.
Nobody for the Rockets playing well at all.
Van Exel going to slow it down.
Got to isolate Magic right here on Mark Bryant. This far away from the hoop, Bryant can't play defense. Now just drive to the hoop.
Van Exel, shot clock is at 3, had to force it. It's short. Hakeem, 5 seconds for the quarter. Drexler at the buzzer. And what an opening period of play for Nick Van Exel and the Los Angeles Lakers. Van Exel with just 5 points on 1 of 11 shooting in game 1 has come out firing. Magic Johnson with 4 points, 2 for 2 from the free throw line, 1 for 1 from the floor, including this hook shot. But at the tail end, his foot lands on Mark Bryant. He rolled his ankle, but Magic seems to have recovered well enough to continue to play. Meanwhile, the Houston Rockets maybe are a completely different story with Clyde Drexler. Here's Hannah Storm.
Well, Greg, as you're recalling game 1, Clyde rolled his right ankle, a similar injury to what we just saw with Magic. Clyde is not doing well. Before the game, he told me that he was sore, swollen, it hurts like heck, and I just overheard him when the Rockets were getting back on defense there towards the end of the quarter. He was telling Hakeem Olajuwon that he cannot push off on that ankle, Greg.
Thanks, Hannah. Not good news at all for the Houston Rockets.
And when you play with an ankle injury, it really affects every part of your game because you can't think about preparation. There's a little bit of preparation there by Robert Horry, who scores for the first time in what seems like forever. Robert scoreless in the first game. Took a lot of heat from his teammates for that in the buses, in the locker room. But you can't prepare for the game and you're thinking about your ankle all the time.
There's a block for Hakeem. That's his second this afternoon. Horry. Olajuwon on the baseline, out of bounds. No, Divac pushed him. Maybe the only way to contend with Hakeem Olajuwon.
Along the baseline, the spin. You look at the spin move that Hakeem has, that Shaq has, that David Robinson does not really have that much of. We're going to see him tomorrow. He'll probably bring one out for us.
Olajuwon with the short pop. He has 6 points. 24-15. And nice poke away by Olajuwon.
Ronnie's making good moves, but Hakeem is so spectacular on defense.
Oh, and Sam Cassell with a nice move to the basket. And Del Harris wants a timeout. A couple of baskets Rockets has given the Laker management pause for thought here. 6-point run by the Rockets. We're coming back to the Great Western Forum for more in just a moment. We welcome you back as Hakeem Olajuwon and Magic Johnson lead their respective teams back onto the court. Keep in mind, last year the Lakers lost game 1 to Seattle and then won the next 3 to advance.
They did not have the home court advantage in that series. They closed it out here at home against Seattle. Right now, though, the Rockets defense has gotten them back in this game.
And Divac in there crashing the offensive boards. And Olajuwon can't believe the foul is on him. It's number 2 on Hakeem.
Hakeem protesting that he just stood there, and it looked like he did as Vlade just exploded up through him. Hakeem, with 2 fouls now, is one of the few centers that can play while he's in foul trouble.
Divac will go to the line to shoot 2.
Vlade had his career playoff high of 6 assists in game 1. The second best passing center in basketball statistically. Vlade Divac behind Hakeem Olajuwon. I think as Hakeem continues to protest and saying that he was just standing there, I think one thing that Vlade and the Lakers can do is use him as a passer, use him to create as well, because he's got the mobility, he's got the skills of a mobile and agile player to compete against Hakeem.
26-17, Lakers in the lead. Anthony Peeler just scooted a little too far across the lane, and Magic tried to send him back. No, 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 no.
Greg, the Lakers are just absolutely annihilating the Rockets on the board, doubling them up. In fact, the Laker guards have more rebounds than the entire Houston team.
Not a good sign. Anthony Peeler feeds to Dale 3. And Peeler back outside for 3.
Lakers have lost a lot since Van Exel went to the bench. They just don't seem to be quicker at the ball. Magic's not trying to drive and penetrate.
Peeler for 3. Back of the rim and then back out, and Olajuwon has it. Cassell, and bumped by Sedale 3 for the foul.
Greg, it's good to see Peeler out there. He appears to be moving well. He's missed his shots, but that will come. The rhythm will come back. In game 1, that swing pass as Cassell is going to get bumped by 3 and just hammered to the floor. But in game 1, the Lakers on their swing passes, the ball was always ending up in Fred Roberts or George Lynch's hands. Those guys are not 3-point spot-up shooters.
Horry for Hakeem. Look at the move to the baseline. Oh.
That's Vlade said. There's nothing you can do about that. Just hope you can contain him a little bit, keep him under 40. And that's the Lakers strategy. Just count on Hakeem not getting 50 or 60 the way Wilt used to, or Jordan does. I hope the rest of the guys don't have big games themselves.
Sabalos for 3. A couple of 3-pointers that could have gone down, but didn't this last 2 shots by the Lakers, and back comes Cassell in a hurry.
Del Harris should come back with Nick Van Exel. That's where the spark was early on in this game.
The double team on Hakeem. Horry. Outside Mario Ellie. And out of bounds to Houston.
The fans are not going to like this. And maybe the ball did go off Horry, but he was fouled. He was pushed. And rather than just calling the foul, good veteran referee just, hey, let the players decide. Give the Rockets the ball out of bounds.
Neither team really lighting it up from behind the 3-point line. The officials this afternoon are Hugh Evans, Terry Durham, and Bernie Fryer. Cassell for the short shot.
Greg, the Rockets are so special. One of the reasons because they have 3 guys that can flat out beat you one-on-one in the half-court set. Sam Cassell, Clyde Drexler, and of course Hakeem Olajuwon.
And Houston has closed to within 5 at 26-21. 8:20 to play in the first half. Out of the corner, Sabalos short. Cassell with the rebound and on the run again. Right at Magic, stops and doesn't get the roll. Sabalos on the run. Cedric Sabalos. 9 Ceballos. 28-21 Lakers.
Hakeem having to be very careful. Has the 2 fouls. Couldn't normally attack the way he likes to on defense on that penetration. Nice interchange. Ori, the give right back. Beautiful basketball.
Olajuwon has 10. 28-23. Lakers by 5. Eddie Jones going to go down low now to Magic. Oh, look. Pass. And Ori comes back for the block and the takeaway. And out of bounds. And a technical.
Creative pass by Magic Johnson and a recovery by Ori is taking the ball, and then he bounces the ball out of bounds. It's a clear violation, and that's showing up of the referee, which is not be tolerated by Bernie Fryer, a classy veteran, or any other referee.
Magic converts the free throw.
Robert Ori, who I feel is the best shot blocking big forward in the NBA.
Robert Ory's game has been missing from the Rockets' attack so far in this series.
But the Rocket coaching staff, they're the first to point out that they don't really care about his game. But a lot of that is coach speak, just trying to never say anything bad about their players. Ory's got to be a scorer.
Magic to the left hook, and that'll be a goaltend. Credit to Bassett, to Magic. He has 5-7 on the day now.
Hakeem is going to lose track of where he is, because once he comes down with his ball, he's going to look back and say, where's that basket? I didn't think I was that close.
7 minutes to play in the first half.
Rockets, though, playing a lot better at this point.
Hakeem across the lane for 2 more. He has 12.
Finally, Van Exel back in the lineup.
And Nick had it batted away from behind and out of bounds. And we have a timeout on the floor. 6:48 remaining in the first half. The Rockets have come back much the way Bill Walton expected they would. You're watching the NBA on NBC.
Speaking of Hakeem, who's brought his team back with 8 second-quarter points on perfect 4-for-4 shooting. Hakeem, the 3rd leading playoff scorer of all time by average, behind Michael Jordan and Jerry West.
Eddie Jones changes direction, and here comes Ori for the block.
There's more of that team defense. Lakers realizing quickly that the all-time shot block leader in the NBA is on the bench. Get to the hoop, but Ori, a vastly underrated shot blocker.
That'll still be Laker basketball. Houston shot just 16% from the floor in the first quarter, has upped that to 78% here in the second.
And the Lakers have dropped off, and they're ice cold.
Van Exel.
That's a tough way to get back in.
Eddie Jones with the follow.
Rockets just mistimed that ball. Now, it's one of the few times you'll see a big game for the Rockets playing without Drexler or Hakeem.
Ori for 3. And Robert Ori can do that with regularity. Clyde Drexler getting ready to check back in. Eldon Campbell for Jones. Campbell beat.
Again, the little things for the Rockets. They mistime a rebound, give up a basket. They go for a ball fake.
Let's go back to the give and go with the Lakers.
You see, when the guy lunges defensively, that's Sam Mack lunging defensively on that post-entry pass. That just sets up the give and go. Stay on the ground. You're not going to steal passes from the guy who's throwing, especially if it's Eddie Jones throwing.
Sam Cassell. Boy, Sam Cassell is awfully tough.
You had to expect that Cassell would come out and have a big game today. He did not play that well. They won. He made a couple of good shots. But Cassell, like Kenny Smith, they alternate which one is going to play great. Today is Sam Cassell's day.
Eldon Campbell fights his way to the basket. 2 on Bryant.
Eldon Campbell just having his way. Mark Bryant, who was a huge positive factor for the Rockets in game 1, has done nothing but pick up a couple of fouls. He's missed some easy shots here. Eldon Campbell, though, has really developed into one of the premier power forwards in this Western Conference, where all the best power forwards are. 2-on-1.
Long rebound back to Mario Elie from Cassell. And coming up on 5 minutes to play here in the first half, it's the Lakers by 5.
Houston just wants to be close. Just hang tough. They know that at the end they can get Akeem, and hopefully Clyde Drexler can come back and be a factor.
They have an illegal defense call against the Lakers.
So great to see Mario Elie back. Missed 3 months in the regular season, at the end of the regular season, because of a severely fractured right forearm. I saw Mario Ellie's x-rays. Unbelievable. He's got a plate in that right forearm, a metal plate with about 8 or 10 screws in it. That's scary looking.
Van Exel blocked from behind by Akeem. That's 3 blocks for Olajuwon today. Cassell.
Beautiful.
For Elie. And Olajuwon fouled as he tried to get a shot off. That'll be Eddie Jones, and that's his second of the afternoon. Houston, 6 of their last 7 from the field. As Olajuwon tries to cut into a 5-point Laker lead.
Greg, it was wonderful talking with Magic, who is on the bench right now, about how different it is right now for him to play against the team that has the great center. Because he started his NBA career with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. The Lakers had Wilt Chamberlain earlier, and all these teams would come in and just get hammered by the great big men for the Lakers. There's Kareem's retired number. Wilt's right up there on the wall as well. And right now the king is in Houston.
Eddie Jones for 2. 8 points for Eddie Jones.
Eddie Jones in the top 10 in the NBA in assist to turnover ratio and in steal to turnover ratio. Good to see Drexler back in the game. Eddie Jones will one day be a consistent all-star in the NBA. As Akeem, who just played in his 11th all-star game this year.
Akeem with 16 of the Rockets' 36 points. And they are back within 3. 3:40 to play here in the first half. Top of the key. Eddie Jones again.
When Eddie Jones gets the complete confidence in his game, just how good he is. He's such a shy person, so reserved.
Double team on Olajuwon now. Mario Elie, long pass cross court. Cassell with the scoop. Sam Cassell. We talked about Van Exel, the spark plug for the Lakers. Sam Cassell is exactly that for the Houston Rockets.
Well, he comes in and he's able to create so much of his own game. He doesn't need Akeem to create his shots. He doesn't need other guys to run the lane for him. He's a guy who can play a whole game and dominate all by himself. Few guys in the NBA can do that.
7 straight shots from the floor. The Houston Rockets right in the thick of things. We'll be back with more in just a moment.
Conservatively on the defensive end, you've got your team back in the game, but you got to realize that second half is going to be where it's all decided. What the Rockets have done, though, is that they've taken the Lakers out of their passing and penetration and dishing game, cutting down their assists.
Van Exel.
That's a wild play.
And up ahead of the pack is Sam Cassell. And the Rockets are within 1.
The Lakers, Magic Johnson has just 1 assist in this ball game. He had only a total of 3 in game 1. The Rockets have seriously denied Magic his normal game plan, which is getting everybody else involved.
Cassell one-on-one on Van Exel. Divac up top. George Lynch just into the game. Ori looked like he got a piece of that, and there's a shot clock violation.
Now, Greg, there's that swing pass that the Lakers were talking about and complaining as Del Harris is coming quickly back with Magic Johnson as the Lakers seem to have fallen apart. But when you swing it to George Lynch or a Fred Roberts, who was the guy who was ineffective in game 1, that's just not the same. Peeler needs those big minutes. Magic, Eddie Jones. You got to get those guys out there the entire game.
Rockets have never led in this game. A basket here would do it, and Cassell gets it. 9 straight field goals for the Houston Rockets, and they lead 42-41. Mismatch down low now with Lynch trying to post up Cassell. Back outside, Van Exel for 3.
In that situation, they just raced at George Lynch. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't recall George Lynch having busted anybody down low on the low block that he's going to require 3 guys to come and deny him the ball.
Nice pass, and Ori missed the stuff. But we do have a foul. What a great pass from Sam Cassell to Robert Ori.
Cassell has taken over the offense. He's got it. He's got the flow happening for him. He's running the backdoor plays. This is an unusual play. Usually Robert Ori just throws that one right down. Nice to see him pop right back up talking to Robert. He is so banged up.
Sam Cassell is such an interesting character. We were talking to him yesterday. He says he and Nick Van Exel are good friends, and he likes to talk to Nick out there. And one of the things he was talking to him about in game 1 was, how was it when you were on suspension? How was it sitting out?
Was it like being on vacation? And it wasn't fun for Nick Van Exel, who told me he came and worked so very hard. He stayed in shape, traveled with the team, went through all the practices, just couldn't attend the games. But that trash talking, that goes all the way back between Ori just unable to get anything done offensively. No rhythm for Robert Ori. But Ellie and Cassell, they were junior college opponents down in the state of Texas in the late 80s. And their rivalry goes way back.
Divac claims the rebound and sends it back up top to Magic. 1:05 to play in the first half. Magic working on Ori.
Just stay single coverage. Make Magic beat you with that hook.
Here comes Cassell. 2-point Laker lead. Long range for 3. That's no good. Not a bounce to the Lakers.
Ill-advised shot. You come down. You've gotten yourself back in the game. You're playing well, and he's playing well. But he's not that hot.
Sedale 3 to Magic. As Lakers swing it again. And back up top to Magic. No. On the drive. The dish for Ceballos.
Magic's second assist in the game. Now 5th in the series.
This is a 20-second timeout call, and on the floor is Robert Ori. And he's in an awful lot of pain, and I didn't see what happened to him.
I was watching Akeem Olajuwon give the concession jam dunk to Cedric Ceballos, and as they went to the timeout, Robert Ori just laying on his face. He's at the top of the screen, the right of the screen. Oh, the follow through by Drexler went right to the face. When Magic gets down the lane after Robert Ori just ran at him. Now, Magic's one of the few guys in the history of the NBA that can get away with jumping in the air to pass, but he jumps to shoot. It is when they finally cut him off.
So Ori, trainer Ray Melchiori looking at Ori's left eye as we get back to action. Ori on the bench. Last 26 seconds of the first half.
If anybody can get him better, Ray can. Ray's got 5 championship rings. 3 with the Celtics, 2 with the Rockets.
Divac with the long rebound. Olajuwon shaking his head at that one as he comes back up court. 11 seconds to play in the first half.
With 2 of the last 3 possessions, they come down and just throw up wild threes.
Magic for 3. Ellie, a runner at the buzzer, doesn't fall, and the Lakers regain control. Akeem Olajuwon and Sam Cassell have been tough Johnson puts a lid on the first half to cap an 8-point Laker run. The Lakers go to the locker room with the lead. We'll be back with the Prudential Halftime Report, featuring the Olympic torch arrival right after this. With 16, Sam Cassell with 15. Robert Horry has 5. He was scoreless the other night in game 1, and Clyde Drexler is yet to score, still bothered by that ankle. Let's check in with Hannah Storm. Hannah.
Well, I managed to speak with Clyde at halftime, and he said his ankle is hurting him like crazy, just like it was before the game. But he says, as you see Chucky Brown with a shot there for the Rockets, that this is the playoffs and no excuses. He insists that he's going to play his normal minutes in the second half. But I asked Rudy Tomjanovich about it, and he's not sure, because everyone knows that Clyde Drexler is not 100% right now. By the way, Robert Horry is seeing fine out of that left eye. Greg?
All right, Hannah, thank you.
Greg, Clyde Drexler has scored 8 points since the second quarter ankle injury. Oh, what a strong start for the Houston Rockets. They come down, and Clyde Drexler makes 2 beautiful passes, leading to a basket for Chucky Brown, and now Robert Horry. The Houston Rockets backcourt did not score in the first half. That's unbelievable that they're still in this game when Drexler and Kenny Smith do not get a single point between them. That even brings a chuckle to Rudy Tomjanovich's face.
Horry gets the first one to fall. 49-45. Horry played 37 minutes in game 1, was 0 for 8 from the floor. He has 7 today, and Houston is down 3.
Magic played 11 minutes in the first half. To me, that's unbelievable.
Eddie Jones, top of the key for 3.
Eddie Jones able to get moving away from Drexler. The matchups between these two teams sometimes get caught in transition.
Hakeem faces up on Divac. Now moves to the baseline. That one didn't go. Here comes Eddie Jones for Van Exel. Gets it back from Campbell.
Rockets have done a very solid job, Chucky Brown in particular, Horry, of slowing down Eldon Campbell.
And there's a foul from behind as Cedric Ceballos commits the foul. Horry goes sprawling, and Terry Durham almost did.
Eldon Campbell had a career year this year. He was a non-factor in game 1. He's gotten 4 points right here. Here's a guy who I think has elevated himself into one of the premier forces at that 4 spot in the NBA. He's doing nothing in the most important game of the season.
Drexler's 3-pointer off the mark. Ceballos grabs the rebound.
Ceballos, a terrific rebounder for a small forward, particularly on the offensive end.
Ceballos out of the corner. The Lakers 54 and Houston 46.
The Rockets have not defended the guy who passes the ball into the post well. Kenny Smith finally gets a jumper to go down. Only a 2. That's his first to the basket, or first to the game. But the guys who have fed the post, the guys who have fed it into Vlade, the guys who have fed it into Eldon Campbell, they have been wide open.
Campbell. And has it roll around, and Drexler with the rebound, and back come the Rockets. Smith down low right away to Hakeem. Horry, nice look for Chucky Brown. So Robert Horry, his scoring touch hasn't been there, but he's done other things.
That's what Rudy Tomjanovich, Carol Dawson, Bob Weinauer, all the Rocket people keep telling us. It's not just numbers and jump shots for Robert Horry, and that's true. But he's good enough that he can consistently put up double-figure numbers.
Ceballos takes a tumble. Drexler with the steal. Van Exel fouls him at the center court line.
Clyde, who was so spectacular physically for a guy who's 33 years old. Here's a guy, Drexler, whose career might have been over a couple years ago playing for the Blazers when things were going downhill up in Portland. Just a career rebirth for Clyde, reuniting with a king.
You tried to make him a little older than that in our conversation with him yesterday. He really took offense at that.
I've just been watching him play for so long now.
Olajuwon with the turnaround, and Eddie Jones has the rebound.
Jones lost his shoe. We'll give him the flat trick.
Lakers with the ball, the 4-point lead. Van Exel on the way, two-pointer. Nick Van Exel with 12 points. Remember, in game 1, Van Exel shot a dismal 1 for 11 from the floor in 32 minutes of play. And Rudy Tomjanovich and Hugh Evans exchanging a few words, friendly words on the sideline. It's an illegal defense call.
You rarely see Rudy smiling this much. I mean, this is a critical game. Even though the Rockets got game 1, the Lakers are one of the best road teams in the entire NBA. I mean, they're 4th best in the league. They won at Orlando this year, breaking Orlando's long, over 2-year run of home victory. So it is entirely within the realm of possibility that the Lakers can go down to Houston and win.
Lakers went 23-18 on the road during the regular season. You know, Bill, as I look over at the Laker bench, do you see a seat there for Del Harris?
There is no seat.
I don't believe there is a seat for Del Harris on the far side.
Well, they might have sold it. Actually, with the great assistant coaches they have there.
Oh, what a move by Clyde Drexler.
But, you know, you've got the great Laker championship tradition, that family spirit that Jerry West instills here. You got Cooper, Michael Cooper, Kurt Rambis over there.
Divac with the rebound, had it stripped from behind.
Nobody running with Chucky Brown and Kenny Smith.
Olajuwon now leans and then feeds Ori, and Ori will go to the free throw line. And you can feel the Houston Rockets begin to get into the flow again.
Well, Clyde Drexler, who has not played well offensively. That's his first basket of the game, scooping his way across the lane. Obviously bothered by that ankle, although he came by the booth and told us at halftime he wasn't going to make excuses. He was going to keep playing on it. But he's a different player than he was Thursday night, when he was the best player athletically in this entire game.
Magic Johnson comes on to replace Eldon Campbell, who has drawn his 4th personal foul.
Look at the job Chucky Brown has done in taking Eldon Campbell out of this game, out of this series. Eldon Campbell, one of the most improved players in the NBA, a solid low post performer, and an absolute non-factor.
Ori gets them both. He has 9.
And Eldon's also a non-factor in rebounds and blocks, something that Chucky Brown should have nothing to do with.
1-point Laker lead. Ori trying for the steal and knocks it out of bounds.
I don't know if Robert Horry wants to mix it up with Michael Cooper. Robert Horry's still young enough to, he probably doesn't even remember who Michael Cooper was, one of the toughest players in the history of NBA basketball.
Van Exel's long-range shot doesn't go. Here comes Drexler on Magic to the basket, and Drexler takes a tumble at the end of the court, as does Magic.
And Horry's really grimacing here, right in front of us, playing defense in a mismatch here with Eddie Jones.
Magic with Drexler on to the right hook.
Hakeem. Horry's hurt again. This guy's banged up.
Chucky Brown, and foul by Divac. And Ori going to take a walk to the far side as we take time with 6:48 to play in a game that is beginning to pick up a little pace. Wouldn't you say?
Terrific Rocket defense on Magic Johnson in the post with Clyde Drexler. When Magic goes to swing that hook, Hakeem is going to go over and get in the air and pull his arm back at the last moment. To force that miss and then be able to come right back and get the rebound. When you can do that as a center, force the miss and come back and get the rebound, you've done your job.
Chucky Brown to the line. And gets it to fall. The Rockets lead it 58-56.
The Rockets have taken the crowd completely out of the game. Even the people with the balloons behind the basket, they're sitting down and waving them. But In the first quarter, the Rockets missed every layup they had their opportunity. They scored 11 points in the first quarter. Now, their offense is in sync, and their free throws are just rolling and slopping in every time.
And you don't need to tell the Lakers how disastrous it would be to lose the first 2 here at home and then have to go back to Houston. They go back to Houston for game 3 on Tuesday night.
3 and 4 in Houston, Tuesday and Thursday. Hakeem just gets called for his 3rd foul here. The cross screen by Eddie Jones. Hakeem did not anticipate it.
3rd personal on Hakeem.
That's why when you're a defensive player, you keep those arms out wide so you can feel that screen if your teammate doesn't call it out for you. Trying to get that 4th on Hakeem, but
Horry comes up with the steal. Drexler on the move for 2. Credit Robert Horry with the steal.
Greg, Horry and Drexler have been all up in the passing lanes. In the first half, Casal brought him back with his beautiful offense and his defense, and now the Lakers look very confused.
Van Exel try to get it down low, and that's batted out of bounds.
You see what the Rockets are doing now as they convert in transition. This has been a flip-flop again from the first quarter. Magic having trouble getting it in.
Nice pass from Van Exel to Ceballos, and saved by Olajuwon. Kenny Smith out of bounds. Lakers. Chucky Brown says, my fault.
Rockets need more patience, more spacing on that fast break, and they need Robert Horry. You get 4 guys running on the break. You can't expect Hakeem to be out there every time, but Horry's got to put his head down and get up and down that court, injured and tired as he is.
Ceballos drives on Drexler, lost the handle down low, scramble for the ball. Horry, no, Chucky Brown comes up with it. And here come the Rockets. Chucky Brown, cross court, Horry. And he'll go to the line.
The strength in Hakeem's hands on the defensive end underneath that board. The way he's able to pull that ball out. You see this Rocket team really surging here. Vlade picks up his 3rd foul of the afternoon. And at the line, Robert Horry, a man so critical to the Rockets' success. This is his 4th year. First year he was a non-factor in the playoffs. Couldn't deal with his tendonitis. They lose to Seattle in overtime in the 7th game.
Anthony Peeler back onto the court for the Lakers, replacing Cedric Ceballos.
Horry realizes now that tendonitis is a part of every NBA player's career. He works his way through it. He fights his way through that pain, and they've been the champions ever since.
There's the first missed free throw here in the quarter by the Rockets, who had hit their first 8. The Lakers have yet to go to the free throw line here in the 3rd. 5:15 to play in the quarter.
Terrific defensive matchup. Horry on Magic.
Divac. Good move to the baseline by Vlade Divac. 62-58. Houston.
Hakeem is playing very smart, selective defense.
Drexler for 3. Clyde Drexler, who has come alive here in the 3rd quarter despite the foot injury, has 9 points.
And Greg, you can just feel the surge of the Houston Rockets. So much confidence. Magic hammered on his way to the line.
And Horry guilty of the foul. Here's Drexler.
Drexler, who came to Houston to win 1 championship, got a great new contract extension, looking for many more.
The folks on the bench say, yeah, we'll take that. The old Clyde is back. Magic with 11 points now this afternoon. Sedale 3 onto the floor. Van Exel takes a seat.
The Magic with just 3 assists. Same number he had in game 1. He's not able to get that total control Magic has. They've been playing him one-on-one with big, tall guys. Might want to try playing Magic in the backcourt.
Magic says he misses those old days when he could just take a game over. Rebound by Magic, who will push it down the lane to the basket. No, too hard. Wanted the foul call, didn't get it. Drexler the other way. And fouled. No, he turned it over.
Great to see this call. That's something when Clyde Drexler is looking at him like, wait a second. You haven't called that since the 60s.
LA with 9 sixth. 5-point Rockets lead. 4:15 to play in the third.
That last drive by Magic, that ball was blocked, Greg, from behind, I believe, by Robert Horry.
Keeler with the fake. Comes up way short. And what a basket by Eddie Jones.
Del Harris on the sideline cannot believe that that fall was not called on Hakeem Olajuwon. He wants 4 on Hakeem. They did change it. The initial call was on Robert Horry. And then they did change the call, and Hakeem is incensed.
And that is now 4. Let's take a look. That was Hakeem with the body.
Absolutely.
And Mark Bryant on to replace Olajuwon.
And finally, the Laker crowd is back into it.
Eddie Jones to make it a 3-point play and a 2-point lead for Houston. 16 for Eddie Jones.
Now somebody for the Rockets has to step forward here and compete mentally against Magic Johnson. Magic's pushing the team. Undoubtedly, he'll play the rest of the game now.
Cassell steps inside the line. Doesn't fall. Tap no good. Picked off by Divac. Eddie Jones wants the ball on the far side, but can't get anyone's attention. Magic inside. Rudy T says timeout right here. The crowd is back, and the Lakers are back on a 7-0 run. We are tied at 65 with 3:27 to play in the third. We're coming back in a moment. You're watching the NBA on NBC. Once again, Magic Johnson has helped jumpstart the Lakers, very much in contrast to game number 1, where Magic said he was extremely frustrated. This is Magic working his way inside for the basket. He says game 1 was a whole different world for him.
Normally you say, man, I'm going to take this game over. Get out the way. I'm running over everybody. I'm going to the hole, and something's going to happen. And it was really frustrating. And I've never been frustrated in a playoff game, never.
But notice Magic taking advantage when Hakeem goes to the bench because of the foul trouble. He was so disappointed and frustrated because Hakeem shut down every inside opportunity for Magic in game 1 and in the first half today.
Cassell loses the handle. That's out of bounds to the Lakers.
The Rockets have been here before. The 2-time defending champions. They've won 8 straight road games. Have a chance to set a record today. They will not be rattled by this pressure. Supremely confident team.
Keeler.
But their biggest problem right now is that Hakeem Olajuwon is on the bench for significant minutes in the second half. Isolation on Magic.
Drexler lost it. Freed has it.
They're not moving. You got to get moving when Magic is coming at the hoop. Where's James Worthy? Where's Jamal Wilkes? Rambis and Cooper.
Keeler into the lane. And this time Mark Bryant comes away with the rebound.
Why you would stand and watch with one of the greatest passers in the history of basketball.
Cassell, no. Mark Bryant salvaged it. Clyde Drexler. And Divac has good position. Here comes Magic on the move. Had it batted away from behind, and Cassell recovered. This has turned into a racehorse game coming up on 2:05 to play for the quarter.
The pace is fast, but the points are not. Oh, that's wild.
Horry no good. Loose ball. Cassell.
No reset on the shot clock. No reset. Down at 6.
And Ellie to the basket. Mario Ellie.
Ellie made a huge three-pointer at the end of game 1 Thursday night here at the Forum. The way he did against Phoenix last year in game 7. Huge clutch play by Mario Elie.
Lakers by 1. A minute and a half to play in the third. Jones to the baseline. Tried to come back the other way. It wouldn't go, and he tracks it down.
You gotta pass that though. When you're double clutched in the air already.
Dale Freed open for a 3. Jones almost got the tip. It's out of bounds to the Lakers. Eddie Jones can elevate.
A very special player out of Temple University. Terrific coaching at the collegiate level by John Chaney. Now get moving if you're the Lakers. They're all just standing there watching Magic.
Magic follows his own shot. Horry hit the deck. Magic hit the basket. 15 for Magic. Last 50 seconds of the quarter.
God, shuffle his feet. What is he doing? It's like a dance step. Magic Johnson in the post against Horry, just using his way to bulk and power his way right through Horry. Stays with it, gets the stick back.
Lakers by 3. 40 seconds to play. Shot clock is at 6. Divac spins and scores.
The game has totally changed as Hakeem went out. Now the Lakers are dominating the basket area, just drop stepping, backing their way in. None of that happens with Hakeem Olajuwon in the game.
Nice pass from Drexler to Mark Bryant for the basket and the foul. Foul is on Vlade Divac. And that's number 4 on Vlade.
That call could have gone against the first guy that lunged through that ball. Magic was arguing for the clear out with the left arm, and that left arm was definitely out there.
What a sweet pass by Clyde Drexler.
We talked in the first half about Magic versus Hakeem. Magic versus Clyde Drexler. That's as sweet as it gets as well.
Bryant missed the free throw. Rebound to the Lakers. Last 10 seconds of the quarter. Everybody clears out for Magic. Comes inside to score. Cassell with the runner at the buzzer. Hakeem on the bench. Magic with 18 points. A big third quarter to lead the Lakers. LA 74, Houston 69.
This Laker team, Greg, one of the most superiorly conditioned team in the entire NBA. They race up and down the court all day long. They got young athletic players in the skilled positions on the perimeter. They got big guys inside. Plus they've got Magic Johnson with it. Houston coming back from all those injuries. The question is going to be how they respond late in these games.
Hakeem Olajuwon back on the floor to start the quarter for the Rockets. Peeler for 3. And Horry with the rebound.
Peeler has not even been close today on the ones he's missed. Usually when it does miss for Peeler, he's been a killer in the fourth quarter for the Lakers.
Yep. Bryant shot no good. Rebound Eldon Campbell. Neither Hakeem Olajuwon nor Sam Cassell scored a point in the third quarter. 74-69 Lakers.
Gonna work on Hakeem, try to get fouled, but that's often a bad strategy. Hakeem does not pick up silly, careless fouls.
And the shot clock expires with the ball bouncing away. And Eldon Campbell looking for a foul. No foul called. The 11th Laker turnover. They registered twice that many in game 1. For his rhythm. Found that one.
It doesn't take him long or much space to get off that shot.
He has 18 this afternoon.
I would love to see Hakeem in his prime now playing against Jabbar in his prime.
And so Dale Freed looking for someone to pass to, couldn't find a receiver, and it's out of bounds.
They played it. Jabbar and Hakeem played against each other a lot at the end of Kareem's career. But Kareem had had lost, and Akeem wasn't nearly the player then that he is now. All right, Akeem, that's 5.
Have another look at it.
The errant pass tipped by pressure on the ball. Rudy Tomjanovich, I think he's got to take him out here.
Well,
he's only down 3 points.
Sam Mack.
It's not like they're in a desperation situation.
Is going to come off the bench. Keeler down the lane. And who is that on? That's number 6 on Olajuwon. And he's gone, and we have 10:05 to play for the game. Bill, that's just a situation where Rudy Tomjanovich couldn't get him out of the game before that play occurred.
That's also Akeem Olajuwon's responsibility. I mean, first of all, I don't really see the foul there. He's standing there. You're talking about a former defensive player of the year. Right on the arm, excuse me. He did hack him. Hugh Evans right in with the call. Akeem done for the game. Now we have to see if his teammates can carry him the way he has carried them.
18.7 rebounds on the afternoon for Akeem. 76-71 Lakers. Akeem did not foul out at all during a regular season game.
There's ice all over the floor here. Someone threw something totally out of place in basketball or any other sporting event.
Who tends to go better in hockey? 76-71 as the Lakers try to pull even in this best-of-5 series.
There's still a lot of ice on the court out there. So dangerous. A player's career could be ended in one slip because of a careless fan throwing something on the court.
So with that cleared up on the far side, now Mario Elie will inbound on the near side. While we have a moment, well, we'll start playing.
Right now it's Sam Cassell and Clyde Drexler and Robert Horry. Drexler on the bench.
Cassell for 3. And Cassell with a few words for the Laker bench. 2-point game. Lakers swing the ball, trying to find the open man. They get an illegal defense call. And that'll be a technical foul call when we come back. Timeout on the floor with 9:29 to be played here in regulation. And before we go, we're going to take that technical. But there are Laker girls all over the court. How are we going to do this, Bill?
Well, Rudy Tomjanovich is all out on the court, too, arguing with the officials.
Terry Durham says to Laker girls, hold on 1 second while Magic takes a free throw.
You can't tell the Laker girls to hold on. I'm sorry.
Magic hits the shot. The girls are waved back on the court, and we'll take time out and come back to the Great Western Forum. You're watching the NBA on NBC.
There was Michael Cooper, now an assistant coach for the Lakers. What a terrific competitor he has been. And a terrific leader for this franchise for so many years. The only franchise he's ever worked for, like Rudy T with the Houston Rockets.
Eldon Campbell's cross-court pass picked off by the Rockets. Cassell comes back and hits Mario Elie down low for 2. The Rockets have Elie, Mark Bryant, Robert Horry, Sam Cassell, and Sam Mack on the floor. And they are within 1 at 77-76. Tough shot. And a late whistle.
A good call, though, by Bernie Crowder.
And Keeler fouled
obvious hack here. The Lakers are just playing so relaxed, as if the game is over with Akeem on the bench. Whereas the Houston Rockets, they're coming out saying, hey, we're going to have some fun here. We got a chance to be big stars ourselves. This is where that championship experience comes together. But they're playing with two guys right now who don't have that experience, with Mark Bryant and Sam Mack, two guys who recently joined the team just this year.
You mentioned that Hakeem Olajuwon had not fouled out of a game all season long. He had not fouled out of a postseason game in the last 7 years.
All the great ones, they foul out a couple times early in their career, and then they just learn how to stay in that game.
Sam Cassell to the basket.
Moses had an unbelievable streak like that as well, but nobody had the streak like Will Chamberlain, who never fouled out of an entire game.
Cassell has 20. 79-78. Magic. Shot clock at 5. Eldon Campbell got the bucket and the foul.
The Rockets are doing themselves a disservice here, Gray. They're arguing on obvious calls by the ref when they're in the wrong. This is another foul here on the penetration in the dish, and finally Eldon Campbell makes a shot. He gets pushed and hammered.
And Rudy Tomjanovich has just drawn a technical foul. So Magic will shoot that one.
I think that's a calculated play by Rudy. He's got Drexler and Akeem on the bench right now. He's got to fight for his guys. Make them believe. Try to keep the game as ragged as he possibly can. Because if the game gets to be a Magic Johnson and Anthony Peeler and Nick Van Exel and Eddie Jones show the rest of the way, hey, the Lakers are going to have an easy victory. But if they can keep it ugly, get Sam Cassell to keep playing, get Robert Horry to finally make some jumpers, they've got a chance at the very end.
Horry trying to sneak the pass through. Elliott recovers. Shot clock is down to 6. And Horry, top of the key, over Eldon Campbell. No. Magic going to push it. And then hold off for Sedale 3.
You really have to win. Now Rudy T's coming with Clyde right now.
Magic to the baseline. Nice defense by Robert Horry, but he threw the ball away. Peeler tapped in by Campbell. We'll see who gets credit for the basket. Eldon Campbell. 84-78.
Obviously a completely different game with Hakeem Olajuwon out of there. Every play at the basket has been dominated by the Lakers. Magic posting up, Eldon Campbell throwing in little short tips there. And
Clyde Drexler back onto the floor.
And the Lakers penetrating at will.
Eddie Jones drew his third personal on that last play, and Sam Cassell just kind of gave Eddie Jones a little bit of a shove.
Well, speaking of getting personal, it's time for Sam Cassell to do that right now and just take this as a challenge for himself, by himself, to come out and say, hey, I know Akeem is the best, and he's the reason we got those 2 rings, but I'm a pretty good player myself. I'm going to show everybody right now that I can win this game head-to-head against Magic down the stretch.
Cassell had 5 points in game 1. He's got 22 this afternoon. Eddie Jones. 18 for Eddie Jones. The Lakers lead 86-80.
Well, with 3-point shooters like Eddie Jones and with Peeler, the best 3-point shooting team in Laker history, Clyde Drexler will be heard from down the stretch. But Clyde played, he's not doing a good job, Clyde, on guarding Eddie Jones. Jones is coming off of picks, and Clyde is taking the shortcut. Maybe he's favoring that angle.
Peeler lost it down the lane, and it is Houston basketball. Houston ball when we come back. 6:14 to play in regulation, and it's the Lakers by 4. Don't go away.
Eddie Jones have 11 rebounds apiece. And Houston is just down by 4 points.
Drexler, one-on-one with Eddie Jones, had it rejected. And Van
you take that long to deliver your shot, a good shot blocker like Eldon Campbell will get there every time.
Keeler. You bet. Second three of the day for Anthony Keeler. He has 10.
But now you see the rhythm of Keeler coming back with the extended minutes. That calf, obviously not much of a factor. No limp at all.
Drexler back outside to Ori for three. Around and out, and Van Exel with the rebound. Just like to confirm, Olajuwon is out of this game with 6 personal fouls. As we come up on 5 minutes to play. Magic. The foul is on Cassell. Second on Cassell. That man right there, Magic Johnson. Boy, he talked yesterday over and over at about how frustrated he was with that game 1, and you could just see it in his face. He was determined to come out and have it be different this afternoon.
And how important it is for him to come out and have a great playoff this year. It's so disappointing and embarrassing for him when he shoved the referee the other day. 8 for 8 Magic from the line, 21 points on the afternoon. Got up on the team playing, Magic did, after his suspension, and literally broke down. And Del Harris said it was the downest he's ever seen Magic Johnson through what has been an up and down flight.
Rudy Tomjanovich wants to take time with 5:01 to play here in regulation as the Lakers look to pull even at 1 game apiece. They lead at 91-82. Don't think that man has made a difference. He returned to the Lakers January the 29th, and since that time they've gone 29-11. He is 6 of 10 from the floor, 9 of 9 from the free throw line. And Magic Johnson, 22 points off the Laker bench. The excitement and drama of the playoffs continues tomorrow. A blockbuster triple-header beginning at noon Eastern Time with NBA Showtime. And then Shaquille O'Neal and the Magic play host to Grant Hill and the Detroit Pistons in Game 2 of their Eastern Conference Series. Then the showdown between Sir Charles and the Admiral. Barkley's Suns go to the Alamo Dome to face Robinson's Spurs. And in prime time, Michael and the Bulls square off with Pat Riley, Alonzo Mourning, and the Miami Heat. Triple dip of NBA playoff action tomorrow at 12 noon Eastern here on NBC. Bill Walton, Hannah Storm, and I will be in San Antonio for the Suns and the Spurs.
And you know that Charles Barkley and Kevin Johnson will not take lightly the drubbing that they took yesterday at the hands of the Spurs.
Magic with another rebound. 4:35 to play in regulation.
Talked about Magic at the opening, having to take over this game, and he has certainly done that.
24 for Magic Johnson. Ori, and foul by Eldon Campbell. That's 5 on Campbell, but let's go back to Magic.
Magic is rolling in, thinking pass the whole time, but once he gets in the air, he knows he has to shoot it. Learned that hook shot from the master, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Shoots it so much differently. And the Rockets have done a good job of making Magic be a scorer and not a passer. You have much greater chance of success against Magic if you're relegated to the score. It also helps a lot when Akeem sits on the bench the entire second half.
You bet. Robert Horry with 3 free throws here, fouled beyond the arc in the act of shooting. He has 12 on the day.
If the Rockets are going to come back and win this ball game, it's got to be with some defense here. Magic has been scoring at will. Eddie Jones has been scoring at will. Peeler's got his rhythm. They're forced to double team Eldon Campbell, and their 8th straight playoff road win streak is in jeopardy.
The Rockets have, the Lakers have lost 3 straight playoff games here at the Great Western Forum, and they're trying to snap that streak. Keelis, front rim, Magic with the rebound. And Magic says, take it easy.
It's so much more difficult now. You play in the forward position as Magic is. That's the hardest place to dominate the game from. That's what made Bird and Dr. J so special. is how they're able to do it.
Shot clock at 5. Van Exel forced out of the corner, back rim. And Ori has the rebound. 3.5 to play. 93-84 Lakers. Game 3, Tuesday night in Houston. Mark Bryant inside for 2, 93-86.
Hard to see how that's not an offensive foul. Mark Bryant is bullying his way to the basket, elbows, shoulders, head, everything.
Drexler goes for the steal and gets it. Del Harris screaming on the far side for a foul. 93-88.
Get the ball to Magic early. Let him make the play. The pressure does not bother him.
Eddie Jones tried to dish it off, and Van Exel will slow it down. 2:40 to play in regulation. Eddie Jones out of the corner. Oh, what a shot. 20 points for Eddie Jones.
Eddie Jones, one of those guys, one of the few guys for the Lakers that can beat you with his own move in the dribble.
And Eldon Campbell, if that's Eldon Campbell, that's his 6th. That is number 6 on Campbell. Let's go back to Eddie Jones, though. With the shot clock running down, boy, when you need a dagger through the heart, he's one of the guys who can do it for you.
We talked about the Lakers as Eldon Campbell fouls out with not very good numbers for how good he is. But Eddie Jones is one of those guys off the dribble for the Lakers that they don't have a lot of. They used to have the game's absolute best in Jabbar, Magic, Worthy, Norm Nixon, all these guys that could kill you with their own one-on-one moves. Now Eddie Jones and Magic and Van Exel, when he's really on a roll, they're the guys that can do it for the Lakers now.
95-89. Mark Bryant will try to make it a 5-point game. 2:23 to play. 95-90.
See, in this situation, I'd let Magic just play the point guard in this situation. Let him bring it up. Van Exel is very good without the ball, but it's his decision-making, it's his unique abilities that make the Lakers a championship contender.
He has Robert Horry on him, and he drew numerous fouls from Horry in Game 1 here Thursday night. Divac, shot clock is at 4. Divac looks for the baseline and tries the fadeaway. And Rudy Tomjanovich wants timeout. Can't get anybody's attention. Down to a minute 45. Mark Bryant inside for 2 more.
Where was this performance from Mark Bryant in the first half? The Rockets only scored 11 points in the first quarter. Bryant coming back as a terrific star. And there's a foul on Drexler. Lakers having trouble just getting the ball over the half-court line. Vlade Divac. I don't know what you call this. Is this the Wilt Chamberlain walk-away, fall-away bank?
And Del Harris now wants a 20-second timeout.
Realizing that, hey, this is all so very important, this team chemistry that has been such a focus of everyone who's been following the Lakers of late.
Peter Vesey can do that to a team? Van Exel gets the bounce. That's only his 3rd point here in the second half. 13 overall. And he gets them both. And Houston wants a timeout. So we'll take a full timeout with a minute 39 to play in the game. Game 2 of this best-of-5 series as the Lakers look to pull even. You're watching the NBA on NBC.
Lost to Utah after splitting in the first round. They had to go back and win Game 5. They played against San Antonio. They won the first 2 games at San Antonio, and they come back and they lose 2 at home. So it's certainly not a given that they're going to be able to go back home to Houston and wrap this up.
Sam Cassell takes it right at Divac. Can't get it to fall. Gets his own rebound outside. Horry for 3. No. And Divac corrals the rebound. And now, Rocket Nuggets in a position where they've got a foul.
They just play chase right now. Move the ball around.
And Van Exel will go to the line.
Speaking with Van Exel before the game and asking about his poor performance and the pressure that he's under coming back from the suspension and the criticism that he's been receiving about his behavior. Said he was just too fired up. He was too fired up to go out and make a statement and play great basketball. He was just hoping to get more opportunities, more touches of the ball. Thought he was just too ready to play in game one.
71 seconds on the clock. Van Exel gets 1 out of 2. 100 to 92. And the Rockets take a timeout with 1:11 to play. 8-point difference. Is there enough time? Find out when we come back. 1 seconds to play, Bill. Time to shoot threes.
Absolutely. You just got to let it throw them up there from long distance, hope something goes in. You got a good chance to get some offensive rebounds. But this has been a Laker game here. Once Akeem went out, they got the scoring up over 100. Lakers, one of the top scoring teams in basketball.
Sam Mack, as time ticks away, Ori, a long three. Too long.
Desperation, really three. But it's been the Laker balance. They got 6 guys in double figures, led by Magic with 24. Campbell's got 8.
And Houston now 4 out of 19 from three-point range. And finally, Magic gets rid of it. Keeler and a block goaltend by Mario Elliott. Give the Lakers credit. A dismal offensive performance here Thursday night in game 1. They came out roaring here in game 2.
But the Rockets had control. They got back, and it looked like it was going to be another grind-out affair all the way down to the final buzzer, where the Rockets are so special. But then Akeem fouled out, and Magic just took over the game. But this series is eventually going to come down to that mental competition, that mental confrontation between Magic and Akeem. I don't care where the game is being played. You're talking about 2 of the greatest players who have ever put on a basketball uniform. It is going to get nothing but better as we move on during the week.
Magic to the free throw line. 25 points. Eddie Jones contributed 20 points and 11 rebounds.
And no frustration for Magic today. It was so disappointing in game 1. Nothing but smiles today.
You'll rest a little easier tonight. Ori on the pass from Cassell. 1:03.94 and a whistle on the floor stops the clock with 13.5 to play. That's Ori with the foul. And once again, Magic will go to the free throw line. Although Rudy Tomjanovich, as you said, won't be totally satisfied with this game, he will be satisfied with the trip into L.A. and coming away with one of those games.
Yes, but Rudy is well aware that this Laker team is so dangerous. A team that had a chance to beat San Antonio last year in the Western Conference Finals. They couldn't take care of business, the Lakers, when they came home. Rudy team is going to be talking about nothing but rebounds. The Lakers got hammered on the glass today, 50-33. And when the Rockets lose, Rudy talks about rebounding.
Sam Mack three-pointer, no. Magic has the rebound, and that'll do it. The Lakers pull even. 104-94 to even this series at 1 game apiece as they go back to Houston on Tuesday night. Magic Johnson, what a performance today. He's with Hannah Storm.
Magic, you were so intensely frustrated after game 1. How gratifying was it to be able to come into this game, have the aggressive effort by your teammates, and be able to take this game over?
Well, that's what we should have did Friday night. I thought we executed in the fourth quarter like we should have in Thursday, and we moved the bodies, moved the ball, and just happy that everybody got involved. Instead of standing around being confused, we knew what we wanted to do, and we went out and did it.
Does it take anything away from this win that Akeem was on the bench down the stretch? And the way your team played today, what do you think they can accomplish in Houston?
No, because what happened was that's what we wanted. We wanted to go at him. Thursday, we went away from him. We were worrying about him so much defensively when they were on defense and we were on offense that we didn't try to get him in foul trouble. We didn't try to go at him. And today we went at him. We were driving the ball, and that's what happened. Somebody got to get in foul trouble. But let me thank Bill for giving me a word of encouragement because he was a key for me. Thanks, Bill.
Kudos to Bill Walton. Thanks, Magic.
All right, Hannah, once again, our final score, the Los Angeles Lakers 104 and Houston 94. Join us tomorrow. The NBA playoffs continue with a triple header beginning at noon Eastern time with NBA Showtime, followed by Orlando against the Detroit Pistons, Phoenix